Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you resonate with the title and or the thumbnail, this is the perfect reading for you, delivered at the perfect time in timely fashion, courtesy of the universe, through the language of synchronicity. This is a collective or general reading, so take what works for you and leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I have posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin with underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. We have conception. So this is talking about the element of fire. The wands represent the element of fire, and they represent action. So this is saying that something has been launched. It could be a project or an idea, something has been put into motion, and we'll see what that is. Sometimes this can actually represent conception of an actual baby. The Hermit is someone who has had a dark night of the soul, and they are seeking clarity from God. So he climbs the mountain, and he goes up to isolate himself from everyone at the top of the mountain. And when his lantern is full of the light of the North Star, it shines its light on his rod, and the rod then he knows it's time to come back down from the mountain to put what he has learned into place and put it into action. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles represents communication coming in. In the old days, the knights would deliver communication from far and wide. That was the only type of long distance communication that they had. This Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck, so it takes forever for the information to get there. And his information is about pentacles. Now the pentacle in tarot represents health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional plane. So a big part of that, of course, is money, and so it is the pentacle is in the shape of a coin. Having said that, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want. So it's more about lifestyle. So this could be some information coming in about some pentacles that are going to benefit you and create a better lifestyle for you. It's been a long time coming, the information. And I should just want to mention, in the old days, they only had the horse and the rider, but nowadays, it could be coming in person, but this information or the communication, but it also could be a letter in the mail, a phone call, a text message. You might get an email. There could be, you could be on social media and someone messages you, or perhaps you see an event there and you go to the event and there you go. There's someone there that has exactly the information you needed to know. Also, if you watch the news for just a few minutes a day, you can find out what's going on at the top of the pyramid. What's going on at the top of the pyramid definitely is going to affect everybody below. All right, we have the Hangman, and the Hangman is hanging from the Tree of Knowledge. Similar to this energy, he's hanging from the Tree of Knowledge until because he wants to gain a better perspective about something he's thinking about. So perhaps you've come down from the mountain and you get the information, and now okay, exactly what action should I take from this point on? And when the aura around his head is nice and bright, then he knows, okay, it's time to take action. So he comes down from the tree and he implements what he sees. He's hanging upside down because he wants to gain a perspective from a totally different angle. And that is looking at things from all angles, basically, and having the balance to understand what's going on. We have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands represents someone who's standing on the precipice of change. This is someone who wants to expand their horizons, He's standing on one horizon. He's looking out over the water on the other. I know this looks like it could be sand, but in actual fact, it is just the way the sun is shining on it. And there are ships sailing by. He's thinking, maybe I'll get on one of them babies and go for an adventure. It's that kind of energy. Someone who's looking for adventure and something new, wants to launch something new. The element of fire, and also about having passion to do something new. This energy sometimes can represent someone who has been in a partnership or has been a couple, like one of the people in a couple, and has decided now to move on and be single, or perhaps go out on a business venture outside of the partnership. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is talking about 3 levels of making money. This is saying you have a strong foundation. There is, he's got both feet on a coin. And so this is talking about you have this is safe money, basically. This is what you have to pay your bills, and you have just enough though. Like it's kind of like you don't have a whole lot to play with, to invest in, or to take risks with. Then there's the heart's desires and the crown and glory. The crown and glory is when you really go after what you came here on the planet to do, and you go hard. Go hard or go home. But this is talking about going home. Like he is actually got his back turned to the city that he's from, which can represent, it's hard to be a hero in your own small town. It also can be representing, sometimes people are too afraid to take any risk at all with money. And, you have to be careful, of course, but calculated risks need to be taken to be able to move into the next level of making money. And this card can represent playing small, or selling yourself short, that, there's, and causing a shortfall of coins in your life. We have a transition happening about that though. So the death card, a lot of times people are afraid of this card, but it rarely means an actual death. What it is about death and rebirth. So it's one cycle ending and a new cycle beginning. When the Grim Reaper comes to town, he's a scary looking figure, but he's not evil. It's a lot of cultures consider the Grim Reaper the bringer of rebirth, basically, like a major change, transition that's happening. And quite often after a hard time, like the dark night of the soul. So this is saying that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that something is ending and something new is coming through. And the sun is coming up between these two pillars, saying, stay on your path, you're almost there. The older person here is like bribing the Grim Reaper, don't come into town, we don't want your change. And the young ones are like, no, yes we do. And one's holding a flower and saying, hi Grim Reaper, I'm ready for something new to bloom. The king has been trampled, and now this is not an actual king, or it's not meant to be like representing an actual king. It's talking about systems, and that government systems and systems around the world that have been in place for a long, long time are starting to show cracks, and they need to change, and they're shifting at this time, which is exactly what we're seeing, where countries, are fighting, and there's all sorts of things going on. Also, in your own personal life, this could represent maybe something in the, like maybe you've had a hobby, and you've had it for, you've always loved to do this, and you thought, I love doing this. And then one day you woke up and you're just like, you know what, I'm done with that. Don't want to do it anymore. And you're kind of surprised and shocked, because you're like, that's the one thing I always thought I would do, and now I don't want to. But the truth is coming in regarding something. It could be something to do with Pentacles here, because it's sitting on this Knight of Pentacles, the information that comes in. The transition is maybe the truth coming in, and when the truth comes in, the truth will set you free. So this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. So if you've been wanting to get the whole truth of what's going on in a situation that's been bothering you, the truth is coming. So get ready. Sometimes the truth can be hard to hear, But the truth can be really funny too. So, sets you, when you hear the truth, it sets you out on a brand new journey, on a new cycle in your life. So this is the Fool. He's about to begin a new cycle. He's at the 0 point, the very first card in the major arcana of tarot, and he's about to take a leap of faith. And he's not even really watching where he's going. He's just trusting that he'll be guided there by the sun. And the sun represents God, being on God's path. He's got this little white dog with him, and that represents having being innocent on your journey, and just having total faith that it will work out as long as you stay on your path. A breath of fresh air. It's a real, this truth coming in is going to be a breath of fresh air for you. The pages are a younger version of the knights. They would start working for the king and queen around 7 to 14 years of age, and they would come from the surrounding families, of the upper class that would, and they would train to work for the king and queen. And as they got older, they would be given more and more responsibility. But in the beginning, their number one job was to deliver messages within the palace walls, and to make sure communication was running smoothly. And again, the communication these days would be very different. Also, the knights and the pages would always be male, but nowadays this could easily be a female in their masculine energy. So whatever the element here is, the mental intelligence and your discipline of your mind, and also basically your thoughts. And this is a double-edged sword. So it's representing both your logical mind and your intuition. The Page of Swords is the only page that isn't totally focused on his element. That's because he already knows what the thought is. He understands what the question is. What he's looking for is a creative solution. And so he's looking away from the thought so that he can think outside the box and use his intuition to come to a creative solution. This card can quite often means an aha moment. It's like a woohoo, I've got this, this is an amazing thought. I've been wanting to hear this. Or you heard the truth and it's totally changed your outlook on life. Something that happened that you had no idea that it was this profound. And so this is like a breath of fresh air, a new way of moving, and sets you off on a totally different path and way more carefree. And the Hierophant is here. So the Hierophant is representing traditional structure, and the Hierophant brings that structure down from the physical realm and into the traditional systems on Earth. So it's about the truth coming in and justice coming in. The Hierophant is responsible for making sure this justice does come in. He it could represent, like if you're a religious person, he could represent a pope, a cardinal, a bishop, someone like that, a guru that that's the head of your religion, whatever it is. And if you're more on the spiritual side and you don't use an intermediary, this could represent God himself, and you going straight to source through meditation and prayer, connecting with that source energy to get the answers that you need. And that comes down to earth, and it's in the physical form, it's in the court systems of the world. So basically legalities and judges, lawyers, prosecutors, that kind of energy, court. And so the bishop, or the Hierophant, has his hand in the form of a blessing, his right hand. So this truth coming in is going to bring justice to a situation, and it's going to change your life. It's going to put you on a whole new adventure, basically, and it's like a breath of fresh air from what you've been experiencing. So you may have been waiting for the truth of a situation for your whole life even, and finally the truth is coming out, and you're going to finally understand, aha, that's why things went the way they did. And so going from the bottom to the top and back down, we have someone who's been going through the dark night of the soul. That's when something really, really heavy has hit. And it's really taken the wind, you know, out of you. And this is talking about the truth is coming in. It's a gift from God. And perhaps you haven't had the truth yet because you weren't ready for it. You know, they say God never gives you more than you can take. It could be a heavy truth. But once you understand, once you have the truth, it's going to set you on a whole new path, a new direction. It's going to end this dark night of the soul energy. And it could have something to do with pentacles that have been a long time coming in. The Hierophant is here to make sure that justice comes down all the way into the physical so that you receive justice in the situation. This is a major transition in your life. It's a big change. And there's going to be, like the Page of Swords, is communication. So it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, finally, I know the truth. And it's going to maybe rock your foundation a little bit, but in a good way. I think there's a lot of more pentacles coming in after you understand what this is. And it might set you off on a journey where you, you know, where you hop on a ship and you go on an adventure. And sometimes it can be like you actually change location where you live and maybe leave some people behind and go out on your own, and you're on a different track. This is to get balance back into your life. You have a whole new perspective to do so. So the conception is like almost like being born again is what I'm getting. Like it's like a beautiful energy being launched. Really, really awesome. So, wow, if you know, if you're leaving off here and you go, I don't even want to know the rest, this is awesome. It is. It's like a breath of fresh air. Breathe. That's the energy. And so we're going to clarify this, though, for those of you who would like clarification. I would like to see a little bit more about what is this about. I'm going to use my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, TAILS, and this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. So the cards that I'm using here have numbers of the cards of paintings that I started back in 2007. I completed all 64 of them in 2020, and now have time. I've been working on my YouTube channel here so that I can play with these cards. And I have a lot of information written down, but you may have noticed that sometimes in life what looks good on paper is very different in action. So that's why I want to play with the cards a little bit, so to finish writing up the information, and then I'm going to bring this oracle out. And I will, the numbers on these cards represent the number of the paintings in the gallery on my website. My website is talesfromthevector.com. And I will put them in the order that they show up here, so you know which paintings to look for. They say a painting can paint 1,000 words, or something like that. Sorry, I'm focusing in on the energy here. And all right, so here we go. This conception is following a hermit. Yeah, like that. So the hermit in my oracle is actually called the Journeyman. And he is a dragon, a baby hawk dragon, and his name is Feisk. And he is sitting on a totem pole right now. I'm looking over at this painting. He's sitting on a totem pole, and he is like so brave. He's like a baby dragon, but he is fearless. He'll fly into the darkest of nights. So because he wants the truth, he's a seeker, and all of the baby dragons in my oracle have an angel that guides them. And this angel, she's got her work cut out to keep up with him. And she's a beautiful little First Nations angel. And this painting is from Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada. The totem pole he's sitting on is not a traditional First Nations totem pole. It's actually from Japan. And it represents the energy of the three monkeys. Hear no ego, speak no, or hear no ego, see no ego, speak no ego. And then it also, the light in the lantern is represented by the Aurora Borealis. The Aurora Borealis is a beautiful light display that happens across the prairies, like on flatlands. You can really see it. Winnipeg, Manitoba has a lot of sightings there of the Aurora Borealis, and it's just gorgeous. All these swirling different colors of light in the sky, and it's just incredible to see. This is sometimes referred to as the Northern Lights, and so that's the energy coming in, just a light show for this new venture. And so we have perception. So all right, so the energy is the grass is greener on the other side, and then you may find out that it's fake. So that could be the situation that you've been in. That's why maybe the hangman is hanging from the tree, because he's like, when I first looked at it, I thought it was way prettier, way more beautiful than it is, or there was way more promise. And now that I'm here, it's like, it's not what I thought it was going to be. That happens. You may have noticed that kind of shift happens in life when that happens to us. Indifference is a karmic space that we can get into. So it might be something like the energy coming in is perhaps you launched something with more than one person, and you thought, oh, we're all in it together, we're work in progress. And you really had that attitude as you were interacting with these people. And then you found out, whoa, my perception was really off. These people, they were in it for themselves. And I was like, I thought we were doing it as a group, but now you have found out that they were very indifferent to. And so they don't, when people become in the karmic space of indifference is when you become so jaded that you don't care about how your actions affect other people. You're becoming totally indifferent. And usually that comes from anger. Anger is a karmic space that happens to a lot of people. Anger is the gift that keeps on giving. You know, if you're angry and you raise children while you're angry, then those children tend to be angry, and then their children tend to be angry, and it's passed down for from generation to generation, and it can be like a hair trigger temper. So sometimes people use anger to motivate themselves, but it's acidic, and eventually it catches up with people, and it just it's the gift that keeps on giving, because if you're angry, you can stay angry for the rest of your life. It's not the most pleasant place to be, though. And then we have destruction. So, okay, so we're all a work in progress, and now there's destruction comes in. I feel like there's something to do about these pentacles here. There should have been more pentacles coming into you, and it's like you've had to leave where you came from, because you have to turn your back on it, because it was destructive for you. Maybe it was good for the people around you, and they were having progress. But for you, all you could see was their indifference. Interesting. It's sitting right on this hangman and on this foundation, and wanting to move on to a new energy. So I guess that moment is here where the truth is coming in. We have the Virgo energy coming in. And so this is about communication. And so what are we sitting on here? The transition. And I just want to point out that when my horoscope signs come up in my readings, in a reading like this that's collective, I'm not talking about a specific person. I'm talking about the energy of each of the horoscope signs. What can we learn from them? We all have a little bit of each sign in us, or most of them, and we can learn from each of them and have a better understanding of other people at the same time. So Mercury is about communication and being able to contribute to to society and to the big picture. So it's talking about analytical critique is a really, really powerful tool, because if you look back at what was working for you, you can double up on that, and if it's not working for you, just stop doing it. And so maybe you've had to you realized, hey, these people are doing, they're not empowering me in any way. I'm empowering them, but they're not, it's an uneven exchange of energy. And you may have noticed that they're starting to, like, the Virgo energy is really good at analytical critique, but there's a fine line between analytical critique and anal criticism. So it's talking about when to draw that fine line. So you may have noticed now all of a sudden the people that you were, experimenting with, and you were like throwing ideas around, now all of a sudden they are criticizing constantly and being really kind of mean about it, and then the lack of awareness. And so I feel like this energy is saying, sometimes people mistake the innocence of a fool on his journey as being someone who's naive, and it's not really. It's about choosing to be in that energy because you are wanting to learn and communicate with other people. But once you become aware, then you change, you have your guard up, and you're not the same way as you used to be with people. And because the lack of awareness sometimes comes from just not wanting to see the truth about people you care about, and then realizing, wow, these people are not who I thought they were, and realizing, oh my goodness, like they're the opposite of who I thought they were. And that's what the hangman is doing. He's hanging from the tree of knowledge upside down to get a totally different perspective. And that's when there's no more lack of awareness, and you realize, hey, I'm out of here. I don't want to, I'm not going to be involving myself with these people anymore. And so that's when sometimes you have to just walk away and just go on an entirely new adventure. And you'll like, oh my gosh, after you leave, like, it's hard to leave, but after you leave, you're like, oh, it's such a relief. And it's like you're a breath of fresh air. I'm myself again. I can be myself. I'm not being dragged down by this group. And that's a whole new world. And that's when you become neutral to leaving. So sometimes, we'll stay in a situation way too long because we have attachments to people. And we want to think the best of them. But if if you're in the dark night of the soul, and you're finding that energy is constantly like that, and you start to realize, whoa, these people are like, and then you maybe find out the truth about what they've really been up to when they're not around you, and you're like, whoa, I don't want to have any part of that. That's the time, like, I'm out of here. And you're off. And you're like, you become neutral to leaving. And the Hierophant will take care of everything else here. The Hierophant represents justice. And when the justice comes in, the karma will be distributed. And you'll be off on your receiving your dharma, while the rest of these people will be receiving their karma. So you'll realize, whoa, I got out of there by the skin of my teeth. Like, I'm so lucky I got out of there, and didn't, that I was kind of rejected by the group. Sometimes rejection is God's protection. And so that is the moral of this story. The good news is it's a whole new world for you again. And once the energy of feeling sad because you had to let go of people that you cared about and loved, once that is, once you become neutral to that, then it's like, man, life is good. That kind of energy. So this is a different reading. The random shift readings, I never know what's going to come out, but I love this is like, now you get to be you again, and you don't care about their criticism. Like, when you find out what these people have really been doing when you're not around them, you are so glad that you have no part of it. You're just like, whoa. Wow. Yeah, I love this. So, this is really is a breath of fresh air. If you have enjoyed this, please do like and comment, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I'll be back with some more readings about random shift. I'm going to concentrate on doing a few of those from now for a few days, because this is like, they're fun to do because you never know what's going to come up. Bye for now. Gotta wake you up, kitty.